If scientists invented a teleportation system but the death rate was 1 in 5 million, would you use it? Why or why not? 1 in 5 million? Yes, I absolutely would. Those odds aren't that bad. I like those odds. It's only like 1500 deaths across the planet. Those are good odds. Depends, what is the death like? If it's like Stephen King's The Jaunt, then hell no. Okay, please tell the gist of it. I too want to be existentially terrified. It's longer than you think, Dad. Sure. I live in London. I'm sure the death rate for just stepping outside of my house is worse than this. Edit. Guys, we've been YouTubed. I completely missed the million on first glance of the title and was really worried about the state of London. I live in NYC and can certainly relate. Pretty sure the subway has the same death rate. Using it 5 million times sounds tedious. I think I'll stick with toaster and bathtub. Even if you use it 5 million times, you still have a 36.79% chance not to die. Yeah, without question. With odds like that, it's probably the safest mode of transportation you could find. Accidentally teleports to a house fire. Deleted. Yes, those are better odds than most transportation, I think. But I would be doubtful of teleportation anyway. Who says the person going in is the same as the one getting out? Would I be the man in the box or the prestige? It depends on which teleportation technique they are using. Molecules decomposing and recomposing, or wormholes that could defy all laws of physics and be produced artificially by engineers. Still a better survival rate than all the other means of transportation. People are worried because the 1 in 5 million feels random. This question phrases the odds of dying as a roll the dice and you might die kind of thing, while in the real world you're aware of your surroundings in real time. U.S. commercial air travel had a 1 in 50 million death rate 2002 to 2012. vhttps://www.sfgate.com/nation/article/u-s-have-safest-decade-ever-2435203.php. If I only used it to commute to, from work over a 30-year career, I'd have a cumulative 0.3% chance of it killing me. An amp, #X200B, assuming I can't do anything to improve my personal odds like standing very still, or swatting any flies in my immediate vicinity right before transport. An amp, #X200B, I still don't know. An amp, #X200B, let's try another perspective. There are 155 employed Americans today. So if ever American only uses the teleportation to commute to work, then 70 people per day will die just commuting. NTSB says about 100 per day die in traffic accidents, all driving not just commuting, so the numbers are reasonably close. An amp, #X200B, now consider second-order effects like, if everyone else used the teleportation, my commute would just be me and interstate shipping transportation. My individual chances of having a traffic accident go way down with fewer commuters on the highways. So the option A or B of driving or teleportation math starts to change in favor of driving. Assuming only organic matter and personal belongings, because modesty can teleport and not large crates of oranges and Barbie dolls. An amp, #X200B, also figure that with a drastically reduced number of variables on the road would make self-driving vehicles an even better, safer proposition. And my commute becomes an hour-long piece and quiet time to read or Netflix. An amp, #X200B, I'm convincing myself to the no column here. So I'll just assume I keep finding reasons against the teleporter and decide against using the magic death trap. If I only used it to commute to, from work over a 30-year career, I'd have a cumulative 0.3% chance of it killing me. This is all I needed. I can instantly get to wherever I need, and it's far less likely to kill me than any disease. Sign me up. Math checks out. The odds would be 1 million, 2 times per day, 5 work days per week, 52 weeks per year, 30 years equals 0.3115%. That's better odds than flying in an airplane at 1 in 3 million. And considerably better odds than simply walking down the street or getting in a car. From what I can tell, this scenario means an even safer method of transportation. I would pick it over all other methods. Pretty sure flying is a lot safer than that. There are almost 3 million airline passenger trips per day in the US alone. Last time I checked, there had been 0 deaths in US on commercial airlines in about 10 years, maybe closer to 15 years now. Global stats may bring that down a bit, but for travel on certified commercial airlines, I believe it's more like 1 in 3 billion passenger trips. Just Googled, what has a 1 in 5 million chance of happening? An amp, #X200B, the answer. Death by hot tap water. Haven't heard too many of those cases, so I would take my chances here. There are 12.5 deaths per billion vehicle miles due to motor vehicles in the US. What we want to know is the average distance you have to cover when you get in the car before you achieve a 1 in 5 million chance of dying. The odds of dying while driving isn't linear. For example, if you drive 80 million miles, that would look like you have a 100% chance of dying, and at 160 million miles you have a 200% chance of dying. That is obviously wrong. What we want is a probability distribution that gives you a cumulative probability of dying of 0% at 0 miles and 100% as you approach infinity miles. What we need is a Poisson exponential distribution. Exponential distributions work over continuous scales instead of discrete scales. This distribution follows the format PM x equals 1e caret x asterisk k, where PM is the probability of dying per commute, x is the distance traveled per commute, and k is the probability of dying every mile. 12.5 deaths, 100 million miles, so, after 50 miles, your probability of dying is PM 50 equals 1e caret minus 50 asterisk 12.5 1 billion equals 0.00000625, or a 1 in 1,600,000 chance of dying. The probability of dying from the teleporter is a constant. PTX equals 1 death 5 million commutes. As you can see, it is independent from the distance driven. What we need to know is where the two probabilities are equal. PM x equals PT x 1e caret x asterisk k equals PT x 1 PT x equals e caret x asterisk k lane 1 PT x equals x asterisk k lane 1 PT x k equals x equals 16.00000016 miles. You need to drive just over 16 miles before the teleporter becomes safer. Interestingly enough, the answer I got when I interpreted this as a linear distribution was 16 deaths per mile. So for small improbable values, you can interpret the distribution linearly. Edit. There's something wrong with my method. It assumes the probability of dying is linear. That means if you drive 80 million miles you will die. Stand by, I'm going to fix this. Second edit. Okay. I've got a proper distribution now. Third edit. You have a 50-50 chance of dying after 55.45 million miles. It isn't relevant to the teleporter question. I just thought you would like to know. Fourth edit. It is an exponential, not Poisson distribution. Fifth edit. Fixed the spelling of discrete. To your edit, driving for 80 million miles would take 121 years straight at 75 miles per hour, so probability of death at some point on that journey approaches 100%. That means if you drive 80 million miles you will die. Stand by, I'm going to fix this. Who knows? Maybe you are right. 1 in 5 mil is no problem. The thing they'd have to prove to me is that the me coming out is the me going in, not a copy, and that stream of consciousness continues. Edit. I know a copy would believe it was the original, but let me put it differently. Imagine I make an exact, down to the last quantum state, memory, everything, copy of you with the same process of teleportation, but the original is completely preserved. Now there are two of you. You and your copy. Now you are told. There can be only one of you gets a bullet in the brain. Ask yourself, is it irrelevant to you which of you dies? Would you go, just throw a coin, I don't care? The difference is, with teleportation, you know it's you, the original, getting that bullet. An amp #X200B, second edit, the proof by philosopher. Get a bunch of philosophers, make a perfect, totally perfect, copy of each of them. Then, for each pair, do the following. Randomly give either the original or a copy a gun with a single bullet, and a coin. Then tell them, you can shoot yourself, you can shoot your copy, in both cases it will be totally painless. You can also use this coin to decide if you wish. If you decide not to do it, both will die painlessly as well. An amp #X200B, then see how many of them roll the coin, and how many of them shoot either themselves or their copy. An amp #X200B, what do you think will happen? What would you do? Note, I'm betting the guy with the gun shoots the other, whether he is a copy or the original. An amp #X200B, third edit. If a clone was made, and the original had, for example, death by SNU, that'd make it something to consider. Just saying. Yeah, that's a hard no for me. This is my concern as well. The odd could be even better for survival, but it's pointless if I philosophically die upon entry. Yes, because I would be able to visit my soul more often. Smiley face. Op teleports to his so's and his limp dead body just flops out the machine onto the floor. So, crying. He was the one. Considering I get everywhere I wanna be and could possibly die trying to get away from Disneyland, why not? Much safer than cars. Of course I'd use it. I'm not stupid. No, but not just because of the rate of death. When I was an adolescent, I read a book that discussed interesting philosophical questions aimed at younger readers, and one of them was whether or not a teleporter would just kill and disassemble you, and reassemble an identical you who thinks they're you at the end point. I don't care if that other me would be very happy about teleporting. I also don't care if the me that comes out the other end is one of the 1 in 5 million that reappears as a corpse. As far as I'm concerned, I'm probably dead as soon as I get beamed up. http://existentialcomics.com/comic/1 Here you go, a comic which goes over some of those ideas. Important. Is the death instant like a telefrag, or horrific and prolonged like Event Horizon? 1/5 million. Man, you can't even die using it, so why bother?